The NFL playoffs have finally made it. It's snowing outside, or it's actually cold outside wherever you may be. And tonight, we've got the final semifinal game of the college football playoff. Where else would you rather be? 7-7 Talk Sports. It's 2025. Oh, yeah, we still around, and we're going to be better than ever. Y'all come holler at me. Let's go. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the first edition, the 2025 edition of 7-7 Talk Sports. Of course, I am your host, Dorico Gaither. First, I just want to say, man, thank y'all, man, for sticking with me in 2024 and 2025. We're going to continue to bring it, man, as we always do. And I also just want to take a quick moment, man, to send my thoughts and prayers to those affected by the California wildfires out there, man. It's something serious that's going on out there, man. So y'all keep them in your thoughts and keep them in your prayers. But let's go ahead and jump right on into this thing, man. As we know tonight, as we record, we are probably about 40 minutes away from kickoff from the final semifinal college football playoff game tonight, the Cotton Bowl, which features Texas versus Ohio State. So the theme for tonight's games, as well as the games for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday when it comes down to the NFL playoffs. The theme is quarterback play. So if you all remember, in my last episode when I talked about Ryan Day and Ryan Day really needing to get a win against Tennessee in the opening round of the playoffs, which they went on ahead and took care of business. They beat Tennessee 42-17. If you notice, you saw a different swag coming from Ohio State, right? So Ohio State came out in the game against Tennessee. They came out like a team whose life was on the line. And, they came out, they did what they needed to do, and they went on ahead and they dog walked Tennessee 42-17. And it's a beautiful thing about sports because when you talk about sports, the word momentum can carry you so far, right? You get on a good hot streak, you get momentum behind you. You're starting to play a whole lot more confident. You're getting your swag back, as they say. So that win against Tennessee with Ohio State, you look at how it elevated them against Oregon. Now, mind you, they lost to Oregon earlier in the year, right? 36-35 in a game which I called for Ohio State to beat Oregon earlier in the year when they went up to Eugene and they played them. But they just really took Oregon behind the woodshed last week in the Rose Bowl. The game was over with, honestly, by the middle of the second quarter. I even went out on Facebook and I was asking, friends and family members, was there something else to watch because the game was really over and it was really not worth me really not worth me wasting my time watching even more. But tonight, Texas comes to town and Ohio State and Texas, they're going to match up tonight. And going back to the theme is quarterback play. So when you look at Will Howard, the transfer quarterback from Kansas State for Ohio State, Will Howard has been up and down this year. Some games, when you look at how he played against Oregon, Will Howard came out, man, and he looked like that he should be, a Heisman Trophy candidate, right? But then you look at other games, you look at the way how Will Howard played against Michigan. And he looked like he was completely lost in the offense. He couldn't see where the blitz was coming from. He couldn't put the ball in the right place for his wide receivers. The entire offense just looked lost. So tonight, I'm really interested to see, are we going to get the Rose Bowl Will Howard or are we going to get the Michigan Will Howard? And I can say the same thing when you flip the script and when you talk about Texas. Now, I've been a big fan of Steve Sarkisian because I think Steve Sarkisian really knows how to draw up an offense. He can put his players in the best position to win ball games. But the problem that I've had has been Quinn Ewers, right? I actually told some friends of mine before the game against Arizona, before the Peach Bowl against Arizona State. I thought maybe that Steve Sarkisian was probably going to look at going to Arch Manning as a starting quarterback because when you look at the way how Quinn Ewers played against Georgia both times, regular season and the SEC championship game, Quinn Ewers he looked really lost. He looked like he didn't know what he was doing out there. He looked like he didn't know what he was seeing. And honestly, against Arizona State early in the game, and really as the game went on, he was struggling, really getting comfortable, right? Texas defense, they made some big plays, and Arizona State just couldn't capitalize. And yes, for those who watched the game, yes, that was a targeting. By every rule book, by everything that's stated in the rule book, that was a targeting. But hey, that's another conversation for another day. But I also wonder going into the game tonight, right? Which Quinn Ewers are we going to get? Are we going to get, the Quinn Ewers that played against Georgia both times and didn't play well? Or are we going to get the Quinn Ewers that stepped up late against Arizona State and made some key throws and, help propel Texas to a victory? So the theme for tonight's game, as it's going to be for the games for, Saturday and Sunday and Monday for the NFL, it's all going to be about quarterback play. That's the theme for this weekend's games is quarterback play. Now, just to go back last night, for those of you that watched the game last night between Notre Dame and Penn State, you can also agree with me when you understand when you hear me say and keep repeating talking about the theme. Because when you look at the way how Drew Miller, if I'm not mistaken, the quarterback for Penn State. Y'all forgive me for mispronouncing his name. You look at that bad read that he threw on that interception late. That was his third man that he was looking at. The ball was actually supposed to win out. His first read was to his All-American tight end Warren. Warren was covered on the out and up. Then he wanted to go to the wide receiver that was running a drag route. It wasn't there. So then what did he do? Aller, that's his name, Drew Aller. And so what did Aller wanted to do? Instead of stepping into the throw, he threw off balance, meaning that the ball was behind the wide receiver. And that's why the DB was able to read that and make that interception. But then if you look on the other side with the quarterback for Notre Dame, he really didn't play well neither in the first half. So again, the defense came through for Notre Dame last night, but quarterback play was so evident in the game last night. And just another quick batch to recap from last night's game from Notre Dame and Penn State. It's time for James Franklin to go. You can say what you want to say to me about James Franklin, but you cannot be 1-18 against the AP top 5 and make $10 million a year and call yourself one of the best head coaches out there in the game right now. So that's my rant on that. But back to tonight's game. So look, guys, this is a tough one for me to call, man. I'm really gonna be honest with you. This is really a tough one for me to call. I like Texas in a very close game tonight. I really like Texas in a very close game tonight. Would I be surprised if Ohio State comes in and picks up and keeps up with the momentum that they had from last week? No, I would not. Would I be surprised if Ohio State comes in and they blow out Texas? No, I will not. Because if you watch the way how Ohio State played, their offense was hitting on all cylinders. But again, my concern is, are we going to see that same Ohio State offense from last week? Or are we going to see the Ohio State offense that struggled against Michigan? So I'm going to take Texas in a very close game. We really hope that Bert Auburn, the field goal kicker for Texas, can get his mind right and make some field goal kicks. But hey, it must be something about Auburn because Auburn has really struggled this year in the football sense of the word. But better days ahead, my Auburn fans. That was not a shot. That was just telling the truth. We got better days ahead. Trust me. But I like Texas tonight in a very close ball game. And I think that we might see somewhat of the same score from last night's game tonight. So I'm going to take Texas in a 27-24 ball game, right? And I think it's really going to live up to it tonight. So flipping gears now, the NFL playoffs are here. It took us forever, but they are finally here. The NFL playoffs are here. So we got the wild card round, and we're going to stick on the same theme, and that is quarterback play, right? That is definitely quarterback play. So for the first game, kicking off the NFL wild card round, you have the LA Chargers on the road against the Houston Texans. You have the Houston Texans, excuse me. So you have Justin Herbert, the quarterback for the LA Chargers, going against CJ Stroud. I like both quarterbacks. Now, if you ask me, I think that Justin Herbert is just a tad bit too elevated right now, but the good thing for the Chargers coming into this game is that the Chargers defense, they gave up the least amount of points the entire year. They only gave up 301 points over the entire year in the NFL. And when you look at the scope of today's NFL, how the game is wide open and it's all about scoring points and they want shootouts and whatnot. That's saying a lot for the Chargers defense. And you got to take your hats off to Jim Harbaugh, who's came in and he's done an outstanding job. He's ran the football a whole lot more. He's trying to keep that offense as balanced as they possibly can. And switching over to the Houston side, Houston is coming into this game, man. They're kind of licking their wounds a little bit. I watched the game on Christmas, with when Baltimore came to town, and Baltimore made it look easy. It kind of felt like that some of the Houston players was just there to see Beyonce in person, and they forgot that that they had a game that they had to play. But I still have a ton of respect for Houston. I really love D'Amico Ryans as a head coach. I think CJ Stroud is an outstanding quarterback. So I'm going to take Houston with the home field advantage. I think it's going to be an ugly game. I think defense is going to that it's going to be a low scoring game. I'm thinking maybe something like a 2017, 17-13 type ball game. But I like Houston to to squeak this one out. I think that CJ Stroud, and the boys, they, again, they had one of their main targets go down. Tank Dell, he went down, with the wide receiver, with the injury and everything. And shout out to Tank Dell, man. We hope that you get healthy fast and everything, man, because that was a real brutal injury that he got himself hurt on. But I still like Houston to pull out a victory just because of the home field advantage. And I believe that, they're going to be flying around at home. They're going to have the energy. The crowd is going to be going with them. I think the defense is really going to show up. And I really think that they're going to cause some problems for Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh and company and the LA Chargers. So I got Houston winning, the first game of the wild card. Then switching up to the primetime event Saturday night. So we got the Baltimore Ravens, at home, the AFC North champions at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So now I want to talk a little bit about this game a little bit in depth, right? So of course, as you know, you have the matchup of the two quarterbacks in Russell Wilson against Lamar Superman Jackson, right? So, Pittsburgh is coming into this game, man, talking about a team that's licking some wounds. You really don't know where Pittsburgh is at right now, both, mentally and physically as a ball club. And the reason why I say that, Pittsburgh had a chance to really make a statement. Let me remind y'all, at one point in time, Pittsburgh had a 3-game lead on Baltimore for the division. And Pittsburgh messed around and played against 3 straight playoff teams, and they lost all 3 games. And when you watched how they played against Kansas City on Christmas Day, they really got embarrassed. I mean, but Kansas City, is on another level. That's why they're the number 1 seed, and they have the best record in the NFL. So that's another subject for another day. But still, you can't get embarrassed the way how Pittsburgh got embarrassed at home on Christmas Day. So In this game, man, I'm really gonna call, and y'all may think I'm crazy for saying this. I know if I'm not mistaken, I think Baltimore may be somewhere close to a double digit favorite in this game. But you cannot forget about the fact that how Baltimore and Pittsburgh, they're division rivals. They play each other twice a year. So they know each other tendencies very well. They model after each other in a lot of ways. They want to hit you in the mouth. They want to control the ball. They want to hit you with play action. They want to control the ball, on the ground. And they want to play real good tight defense. Now, both defenses have been up and down the entire year as far as trying to remain consistent, but they've showed a lot of flashes of inconsistency. And it's also a lot of griping and grumbling that's coming out of Pittsburgh's locker room, and a lot of fans out there that are Steelers fans. Some people are really calling for Mike Tomlin's head. They're saying that okay, enough is enough. Yeah, it's all great, fine, well, and dandy. He's never had a losing season, losing regular season in the NFL, which is hard to do, and he's the only head coach that's never had a losing season during his tenure. But people expect championships in Pittsburgh. It's not all about just going to the wild card or making the playoffs year after year. They want to hold up Lombardi trophies, right? So, and then even when you flip the script and you go towards Baltimore, Baltimore had their up and down throughout the season as well. And then the young defense, especially on defense, you had the young defense, the first year defensive coordinator, Zach Orr, who used to be a linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens. He's a defensive coordinator. He had to move some pieces around, and I see how well Baltimore has been flying to the football and whatnot lately. But at the end of the day, this is all going to come down to Lamar Jackson. This is going to come down to Lamar Jackson. Now, that Baltimore Ravens went out in the offseason, they went out and they got King Henry, right? Derrick Henry coming into, finished the regular season with 16 touchdown runs. He's tied for first in that category, but he also finished the season with 1,921 yards rushing, right? Only right second in the league, only behind Saquon Barkley in Philadelphia, who had a magical season, right? So I want to see what Baltimore's game plan is going to be. Because are you saying to Lamar, hey, Lamar, look, you got this weapon here in the backfield. We are going to run the football. Or are you saying, Lamar, it's all on you? Now, mind you, Baltimore's offense is going to be hurting a little bit because Zay Flowers has been ruled out for the game on tomorrow with an injury because he got injured in the last game of the season against Cleveland. So how is that going to affect Baltimore's passing game, right? And with Pittsburgh has a history of bringing in different exotic blitzes, and their blitz packages, right? So I want to see how all of this is going to play out. But let me tell y'all something going back to Lamar, right? It is a lot of chatter out there that Lamar Jackson should be the MVP. And you look at it between him and Josh Allen, right? But you looking at the numbers, Lamar came in, he threw for 41 touchdowns against 4 picks, right? So a career high in touchdown passes and whatnot. So Lamar has put together a dream season. But also at the same time, though, Lamar Jackson, you've got to win a Super Bowl this year. Yes, I said it. You've got to win a Super Bowl this year. If you go back to the beginning of the year, what did I say to everyone? I told y'all when Baltimore played Kansas City, Baltimore had to beat Kansas City on the road. They did not do it. So now the only way that Baltimore is going to get to a Super Bowl, they are going to have to go through all roads to the Super Bowl leads through Kansas City, right? But you need for Lamar to step up. Now, this ain't hating on Lamar. I'm a big time Lamar Jackson fan. I want to see Lamar Jackson win a Super Bowl. But also, we need to hold Lamar Jackson to the same standard as we hold to other multiple MVP winners. I'm going to say that again. We need to hold Lamar Jackson to the same standard that we hold multiple MVP winners. If Lamar wins the MVP this season, which he probably will, that is going to be his third MVP. Two of the MVPs, he's been unanimous, right? So he may not win unanimously this year, but it's a really good chance he's going to win his third MVP. And what does Lamar have to show for it? He does not even have a Super Bowl appearance, yet alone a ring, but he doesn't even have a Super Bowl appearance. So we cannot continue to make excuses for Lamar Jackson, right? Great, outstanding player. Again, like I said, I want to see Lamar to win a Super Bowl, but we've got to hold him to the same standard. So when I'm looking at this game tomorrow night with Baltimore and Pittsburgh, again, it's a coin flip because I just don't know which direction this game is going to go. Russell Wilson can come in here and throw for 185 yards and 3 picks. George Pickens, we really need for you to step up and get your mind right and stop pouting. If the ball ain't coming your way, you got to continue to, and y'all forgive me for what I'm about to say. If the ball ain't coming your way, George Pickens, continue to work your ass off and play the game and make a difference. Stop dropping easy passes and stop pouting because you have your man beat and the quarterback didn't see you. But then when he puts the ball in your hand on a post route, you drop the ball. And so you can't be talking smack to the fans because the fans are saying the same thing. You're costing us games because you're out there pouting, right? So I'm not going to pick a winner in that Baltimore and Pittsburgh game. I'm just going to say that it's a toss up. And I'll leave it that way. Now, switching gears and going to the games on Sunday, right? So we have Denver, who will be taking on I'm sorry, who is Denver playing? I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. You have Denver taking on Buffalo. Again, themes of the quarterback, right? So you heard me mention a little bit earlier about Josh Allen, particularly being who may be possible, who's going to get MVP votes, right? Because Josh Allen has played well this year as well. So when you look at Allen's stats, right? Josh Allen he finished the regular season with 3,731 yards passing, 28 touchdowns against 6 picks. Then when you look at the rookie Bo Nix, who was once an Auburn Tiger, but he's probably claiming Oregon now. But Bo Nix finished the season for Denver with 3,775 yards passing, and he had 29 touchdowns against 12 picks, which is really good for a rookie, his first year, and especially playing in that Sean Payton offense, right? But where I see that this game is a little bit on the fence for me is the fact that Denver's defense is nothing to be played with. Yeah, they gave up, I believe they gave up 34 against the Bengals. I mean, but come on, man, that's Joe Burrow. That's Joe Burrow. I mean, Burrow should really be getting some consideration for MVP as well because Burrow threw for over 40 touchdown passes with that patchwork, or like we like to say, that tomato can offensive line that he has, right? But Denver's defense is going to bring it. And, I know it's going to be cold in Buffalo. It may even be snowing up there in Buffalo. So Buffalo is probably going to have, the home field advantage with that. I like Buffalo in a close game, but I think this game is going to be a lot closer than what people may think, right? And I don't really know what the line is on it, but the last time I saw it, I think Buffalo was only maybe a 2 or 3 point favorite. So that's telling you that people think that this game is going to be a whole lot closer than than what some pundits may be thinking. Because again, you have to think about Denver's defense and Surtain to me, Patrick Surtain Jr. or Patrick Surtain II. Let me say it that way. He's the best corner. He is the best corner in football. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. This man is the best corner in football, hands down. So, but I'm still going to go with Buffalo because I just think with the experience with Josh Allen and the coaching staff of Buffalo and the home field advantage, I really think that that's going to, play in the favor of Buffalo against Denver. But again, another close game, man. And it's really going to be a really good game to watch because as y'all can see, the word that I keep throwing out there is the theme is quarterback play. Because these quarterbacks, the way how they play, man, it's going to dictate which team who's going to have success. The next game that's going to be played on Saturday is going we have I'm sorry, on Sunday, forgive me. You have Philadelphia against Green Bay. Now, this is another interesting one because again, what are we talking about? We're talking about the play of the quarterbacks, right? So let's start with Green Bay first. As the visiting team, they're coming in there. So when you look at Green Bay, Jordan Love has had some inconsistent play. But if you look at his numbers, Jordan Love has played great. Jordan Love he finished the regular season with 3,389 yards passing, with 25 touchdowns against 11 interceptions, right? Yeah, he needs to be better when turning the football over. He turns the football over a lot. But Jordan Love has that gambler's mentality because the kid has got an outstanding arm. He can put the football there, but sometimes he takes unnecessary risk, right? And then when you look at Philadelphia, right? Earlier in the week, I had questions on if Jalen Hurts was going to play because, we have to remember, he got that concussion against Washington back here in December, right? I think it was like December 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. He got that concussion against Washington, right? And then he missed out on the regular season finale against Dallas, right? So you're talking about basically, almost 2 weeks of non-game play. And then, he was finally able to clear the concussion protocol today, as a matter of fact, but he practiced yesterday. And Jalen even said that he's never had a concussion before. So he doesn't know, like if this was all new to him. So the question that I have coming into this is Jalen going to be rusty, right? And is he going to be, is he going to be hesitant to take off and use his legs? Because, when you got guys that's coming back from a concussion, man, if they take a shot in that same area, sometimes they may be prone to, basically being knocked out the game again. Look at what happened with Tua, last year and this year. So the question is going to be how is Philadelphia's offense going to look? Of course, they got Saquon back there in in that backfield and whatnot. And if Sirianni, the head coach Nick Sirianni, is smart, he's going to get the ball out there to Saquon Barkley, early and often. Get him out there on some screens, man. Even let him line up out there as a wide receiver, man, and just let's open this thing up a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see. In Green Bay secondary, they can match up with Philadelphia's wide receivers. So, again, I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm going to call that a toss-up game. Because when you're looking at a lot of these games, guys, like, again, the quarterback play is what's going to make the difference in these games, right? So now you have to think about, okay, well, what's going to happen when it comes down, really to quarterback play and who's going to do what they need to do, right? And when you look at the last game that's being played on Sunday night, you have the Washington Commanders taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? Again, another theme with that is you got quarterback play. Now, you have Jaden Daniels for the Washington Commanders, who I told everybody coming into the draft, last year's draft, that Jaden Daniels was the best quarterback in the draft. And Jaden Daniels should be hands down easily the unanimous rookie of the year, right? Because he's played outstanding football. He really has. When you look at Jaden Daniels' numbers, Jaden Daniels finished the regular season with 3,568 yards passing, 25 touchdowns, 9 picks. Now, he's going up against Baker Mayfield, who has somehow, some way, just found his mojo all over again. And Baker Mayfield finished the year with 4,500 yards passing, 41 touchdowns against 16 interceptions. Yeah, he was really high turning the football over. But Baker since he's been to Tampa, he's been playing great football. I mean, even last year he played great football, and they really should have beat Detroit in the wild card round last year when they played Detroit. But I think this game is going to be somewhat of a defensive struggle because when you look at Washington on one hand, you have Dan Quinn, who's a defensive mind, right? And Dan Quinn really should be looked at for Coach of the Year honors and whatnot. And he's done a great job up there in Washington with that defense. He's got those boys flying around, man, just to be honest with you. And then when you look at on the other side with Tampa, right? Their defense has always been, just their defense has always been really good down there in Tampa. They really love to get after the quarterback and everything as well. And with Todd Bowles being their head coach, Todd Bowles is also a great defensive mind. So I think this is going to be somewhat of a defensive slugfest, but I know Washington is coming to town with revenge on their mind because they played Tampa Bay earlier in the year and Tampa Bay beat Washington 37-20. So revenge is definitely going to be on Washington's mind, when they come into town and everything. But I'm gonna have to roll with Jaden Daniels and crew, man. And I really think that Washington is going to come in there. They're going to do what they need to do. Jaden is going to make plays with his arms, with his arm and his legs and whatnot. And I look for Washington to go ahead and advance to the divisional round of the playoffs. And the last game that we're going to talk about, man, is the game that's happening Monday night, right? Again, theme word, the theme, quarterback play. You got the Minnesota Vikings coming in, which really, if they would have beat Detroit, Minnesota would have been the number one team, the number one seed in the NFC. So they're coming into town and they're taking on the Rams. Now, this game was scheduled to be out there in LA, but it's been moved to Arizona due to the wildfires out there in Southern California and whatnot. So, but the bigger question that I have is how will Minnesota bounce back? That's the bigger question that I have. Because when you look at it, what happened last Sunday night, Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, he sent blitzes out there, man, all over the place. He had Sam Darnold really confused. He hit Sam Darnold a lot, and Darnold really missed on 3 red zone opportunities to Justin Jefferson that should have been touchdowns. But Darnold was ready to get rid of the football really, really early because he was tired of getting hit. So just interested to see how Darnold is going to respond with this. Because I know the Rams have some young talent on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to send their packages and everything pretty much the same way how Aaron Glenn did, and they're going to want to get the Darnold early. But honestly, I think with this one, I think that this is get back week for Minnesota. I think that Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings, I really think he's just going to have that defense flying. And I think they realize that they let a golden opportunity slip away. But I like Minnesota to bounce back in this game and whatnot, man. So I'm going to take Minnesota with the victory on this game here, man. So yeah, man. That's pretty much about my time and everything, man. For for this episode of 7-7 Talk Sports, man, the playoff edition for the wild card round and the semifinal edition of the college football playoffs. Hey, but look, man, y'all hit me up, man. Y'all make sure that y'all watch the game and everything tonight. Y'all watch those games this weekend. And look, man, wherever you may be, if you're out, just be careful out here in this weather, man, especially if you're in the locations that's received snow and ice and whatnot, man. Y'all just make sure that you be safe out there. And again, man, keep the people out there in Southern California on your hearts and minds, man, because, you got some people who had a house on Monday and now everything that they had is all gone. So y'all keep your hearts and prayers open for those people, man. And as we say, man, look, it's 2025, as y'all can see, I got my scoreboard behind me, and my scoreboard says winning and losing are inches apart. That's going to be our theme here for 2025, man. Continue to put one foot in front of the other. Whatever it is that you choose to do, you attack it with all tenacity because remember, winning and losing are inches apart. Hey, much love to y'all, man. I'm definitely going to see y'all again next week. Consistency is the theme for me because we're winning, and we're going to take this thing, man, to places that I've only dreamed of, okay? Continue to put one foot in front of the other, man. Hey, man, keep your prayers up, keep that faith up and everything. Y'all watch them games. 7-7 Talk Sports. Y'all know who it is. It's 2025. Holla at me. I'm gone.